It's a brunch and lax kind of Saturday morning. Hello, everybody. Matt Lawrence with you for another edition of the Johns Hopkins Lacrosse Pregame Show. A road game edition for the first time here on our YouTube channel. The Blue Jays getting ready to take on the Buckeyes in about 30 minutes from now out in Columbus. We'll take you up to opening face-off for the second matchup between Johns Hopkins and Ohio State. We have a very special show coming up for all of our fans today. We'll recognize some of our local businesses that have been such a strong supporter of Johns Hopkins lacrosse and have meant so much to the Hopkins lacrosse programs. We'll sit down with the owners of the Mount Washington Tavern, who have been a proud sponsor for the last 4 seasons with the Johns Hopkins Athletics Department. And we'll also have a special tribute for a longtime supporter. Maybe nobody supported Johns Hopkins lacrosse more in the Charles Village area than this man, Jerry Smith, who was the longtime owner of PJ's Pub, which was a staple for all Johns Hopkins lacrosse student athletes during their time here at Homewood. All that coming up in a little bit as we shift our attention to the matchup that we'll see later this morning. Johns Hopkins taking on Ohio State, the second matchup of the season between the two sides. The Buckeyes back in week 1 came to Homewood Field and knocked off Johns Hopkins 14-8 in the season opener. They were led by Trey LeClaire, the 3-time All-American who scored a game-high 4 goals in that season opener. For Johns Hopkins in that first matchup, it was Josh Curson making his first career start in goal for the Blue Jays. He turned in a career-high 13 saves against his former club. He'll look to repeat that performance today as the Blue Jays look for a much-needed win after dropping each of their last 3 games. Ohio State comes in 3-4 on the season, a game ahead of Johns Hopkins, Michigan, and Penn State, who all sit at 2-5 on the year. So a critical matchup coming up today in terms of Big Ten standings and seeding for the conference tournament. We'll get to the rest of our pregame show here shortly, but first, fans, it's now time for the Hopkins Lacrosse trivia question of the day. I'm making it real easy for everybody. Today's trivia question, presented by Smoothie King. Everybody's going to have an opportunity to take home a gift card to Smoothie King. All you have to do, submit your answer. I don't even care if it's the correct answer. Submit your answer here in the chat of the YouTube video or over on Twitter at JHU Men's Lacrosse. Submit your answer. Whether you're right or you're wrong, you're going to be taking home a gift card to Smoothie King. The weather's turning nice. Summer is around the corner. Stock up on your gift cards to Smoothie King. Give them a visit over at 3400 West Cold Spring Lane or on the web at www.smoothieking.com. All right, and now time for the question. It's the 10th time in the history of the Blue Jay lacrosse program that the men's team has played on April 10th. They're 7-2 all-time in such games on this date. When was the last time they played on April 10th, and who was the opponent? Once again, 10th time that the Blue Jays have played on April 10th. When was the last time they played on this date, and who was the opponent? As always, you can find the answer to that trivia question in the game notes at Hopkins Sports. Go to www.hopkinsports.com. Check out the game notes, and it'll have the answer to today's Smoothie King question of the day. Blue Jays and Buckeyes coming up from Columbus in about 25 minutes from now. We're going to step aside briefly. On the other side of this break, our tribute to Jerry, as many people knew him, Jerry Smith of PJ's Pub, a longtime owner of PJ's Pub, a longtime supporter of Hopkins lacrosse. He was beloved by so many here in the Hopkins lacrosse program and around the Charles Village area. We'll have a special tribute to him. We'll also sit down with Rob Frisch, of the owner of the Mount Washington Tavern, and we'll take a look at the Blue Jay women's lacrosse team. The Lady Jays picked up a huge Wednesday night win over Penn State. They'll be back in action tomorrow, senior day here from Homewood Field. Watch them take on Rutgers at 12 noon Eastern live on ESPNU. All that and more coming up on the Hopkins Lacrosse pregame show presented by Pepsi.
Johns Hopkins Federal Credit Union is a proud sponsor of Hopkins lacrosse. We have served the financial needs of the Hopkins community since 1971. Visit us on the web at jhfcu.org for more information. Go Jays!
I think the ultimate thing that you could say about anyone in this life is that they affected you personally, but they left a footprint on the world, and Jerry did all of those things.
No one loved the Blue Jays quite like Jerry Smith.
Jerry loved Hopkins lacrosse. He also loved Hopkins football, Hopkins basketball, and he would occasionally come to a Hopkins field hockey game if you asked him nicely.
He was the dad that was willing to protect us, but also he was a friend that would tell jokes and make us laugh and make fun of us.
Just like everybody else, Jerry and PJ's pub were a huge part of my Hopkins lacrosse experience.
He cared about every player that ever played here. He cared about every fan. He cared about every parent, and he treated you as such.
He loved bringing everyone together over good food, good times, great conversation, and of course, sports.
Whether you stepped into Jerry's one time or you stepped in there 100 times, Jerry treated you like family.
Whether it was the field hockey team winning a Centennial Conference title or his beloved men's lacrosse team winning a national championship, Jerry was always there to cheer us on and to celebrate our victories.
So as you can see, every time us Hopkins lacrosse grads would go back to Hopkins, we'd always make a point to go see Jerry and PJ's. All right, stick 'em Jays!
Well, Jerry, we miss you. I'm sad that some of the current athletes aren't getting to have you as part of their experience at Hopkins. But you are definitely a legend, a man who truly bled Hopkins blue. Forever a Blue Jay.
Hopkins will never be the same without him, but I think that everyone who knew him knows that he is truly forever a Blue Jay. Love you, Jerry. Rest in peace.
He was such an important part of our community, loved Hopkins lacrosse, all our sports, Hopkins athletics, and we absolutely miss him dearly.
So I'm honored to be a part of this tribute to Jerry, and rest in peace, bro. I love you.
That ride share you took to the interview, it's rented. That sofa you sat on while you got your dream job, it's rented too. What you own are your opportunities. Court, furniture on your terms.
There's a fog out there, and it's calling you by name. It wants to wrap its whole self around you, make you forget who you are. But you won't forget. You've got to find your way through that fog. Through the unknown. There's only one way.
We are a team. We are a unit. We are a family. No, literally. We are a suburban family of football fans. That's our neighbor. Hi, Bob. And that's the inflatable screen we forgot to properly secure.
Pepsi, made for football. Watch it.
All right, welcome back, everybody, to the Hopkins Lacrosse pregame show. Blue Jays and Buckeyes coming up at 11 a.m. Eastern on Big Ten Network Plus. I'm joined now by a very special guest, Rob Frisch of the Mount Washington Tavern joins us. The Mount Washington Tavern have been sponsors of ours over the last few years. They've been great to us. And Rob, we're thankful to have you on today's pregame show. We actually, for our viewers, you and I had this conversation about, I think it was like 2 months ago, that we had recorded an interview that we thought we were going to run at, one of our first home games. And then the way the schedule worked out, we got pushed back to running it for this weekend. And a lot has changed between now and the time that we had talked. I believe it was back in February. You guys hadn't even reopened yet, right. since New Year's. So I kind of want to, backtrack a little bit to that decision that you guys had made to close down with the Baltimore City restrictions. What went into that decision, and what was the hardest part about making that decision to close your doors for a few weeks because of the city restrictions?
Yeah, sure. So, January and February are pretty dull months for the restaurant business anyway. And when the mayor cut us back to 25%, it just became pretty apparent that we were coming out of pocket just to cover expenses. And, we did the math and we just said, hey, let's just shut down until we get back to at least 50%. And then he lifted the 25 to 50, I guess about a month ago. And it's been working out pretty well. It's, it's still a challenge. We'd much rather be at 100%, of course. But, with the warmer weather coming in, with lacrosse season, it just made for us to open up because, not only are we a collegiate hotspot for, lacrosse hotspot, but also high school as well. So, with having, Boys Latin, Gilman, Coppermine, all these, places so close to us, it just made sense.
And I got to ask, so we're recording this on Friday, less than 24 hours from game time between Hopkins and Ohio State. But yesterday, opening day for the Orioles, fans back at Camden Yards. What was that like for a mid-afternoon opening day? Did you see a good crowd for Baltimore opening day yesterday?
We did. We had a good crowd come in. It was a beautiful day, obviously, but we had a lot of people come in first to get lunch and then go downtown with their own tickets. And then we did a complimentary hot dog, popcorn, and peanut bar up in the Sky Bar. And it was pretty much full the entire day. And it was just a really good atmosphere. It'd been better if the Orioles won, but it was still kind of almost like a holiday kind of atmosphere. Yeah, people really got into it.
And that's great to hear. It was awesome to see people back at Camden Yards. A nice, beautiful day for opening day. But Rob, I know one of the things that we talked about the first time that you and I talked is, how loyal kind of your fan base is and your regular customers that have been coming to the tavern for so many years. What was, when you reopened back in, I believe it was the end of February that you reopened, but did you see those regulars? Have they been coming back, and what was their, kind of their messages to you when you reopened your doors again, and how good was it to see those people again?
Well, it was awesome because, we've got so many regulars. It's like family. I mean, we'd go to their weddings, funerals, birthday parties, all that kind of stuff. And it was just nice to see them and touch base with them. And I would say 95% have been back. We've had a couple that have contacted us and said, hey, not until the vaccination is a little bit more widespread. And I understand that. And others have, supported us through carryout if they didn't want to come into the building. But we're really, really on top of, sanitation and getting everything clean. And, when the table gets up, it's all wiped clean with disinfected, that kind of stuff. So, but yeah, it's fantastic seeing them all come back in for sure.
And for some of our fans that, may frequent the tavern when they come into town for a game, granted, our fan situation hasn't been, quite consistent. So we may have some people that'll be coming back to Homewood here in a couple weeks. And it may be their first time here in over a year or so. Is there anything new that you guys have implemented, whether it's new menu items, new things that people will see throughout the tavern? What can people that may not have been there for a couple of years expect when they come back to the tavern?
Well, it's certainly a different menu from a couple of years ago. It's a lot of the favorites are still on there. Probably the newest thing is that the city allows us to use Sawgrave Avenue, the street that's alongside of the tavern, for seating. So we've got some real nice planters out there. It's lit. It's just another sort of outdoor option because we have the deck in the Sky Bar, and then we also have the retractable roof out in the Chesapeake room. So there's several options if people are, looking for that outdoor experience. But, other than that, it's pretty much the same friendly faces, most of the staff's back. So yeah, we're kind of just not missing a beat here right now.
And I guess that was kind of going to bring me to my last question. And you mentioned your staff. I know when we talked a couple weeks ago, that was one of the things that you were the most concerned with was, taking care of your staff. How great has it been for them to be able to get back to work every day? Have you seen, I don't know if a renewed sense of energy is the right way of putting it, but how great is it to be back to work every day?
I think that's a great way of putting it. That's, we have over 400 years of combined service amongst our staff, which is pretty unheard of for the restaurant, industry as a whole. But yeah, they're family, and when they came back, it just feels right now. It just was so weird before, but yeah, it's all good. I mean, they're very positive, and everybody's just happy to get back to normal, so to speak.
Well, Rob Frisch, thank you so much for taking the time out to join us. Thank you to the Tavern for all your support of Hopkins Athletics. We'll be sure to get down there for a crab cake, maybe get together for Preakness or something. But Rob, thanks so much once again for your time.
Hey, happy to be here, guys, and let's go Jays.
He needs surgery in the next 10 days.
Felt the shooting pain in my knee.
I don't know what I did, but I did something. I stepped off to the side again and it buckled.
The plan is to get you to run again. The plan is to get you back to where you were. We can fix this.
To know that I could be back out there.
I'm way better now than I was pre-surgery.
Welcome to Johns Hopkins.
Dropping the ball on maintaining your health? Johns Hopkins Medical Imaging is here to help. With locations close to home or work, we make receiving Johns Hopkins quality imaging comfortable, easy, and stress-free. Whether you need a quick x-ray, a routine mammogram, or a diagnostic scan, our highly trained experts are committed to ensuring that you get the most accurate reading when it matters most. We offer a full range of medical imaging services and use the most advanced imaging equipment and technology. Make Johns Hopkins Medical Imaging your imaging facility of choice.
Whether we're students, faculty, or staff, the JHU Social Compact is a way to keep all of us safe. You can read the whole thing by going here. As a community, we're committed to keeping an eye on our own health, reporting symptoms, covering our faces, indoors, outdoors, wherever we can, keeping our hands clean. Simple soap and water go a long way. Getting a Green Pass from the Pro Density app every time we head to Hopkins, and doing our part to stop the spread by testing, contact tracing, and self-isolation when it's needed. Now, there's a whole lot more to the compact that we can't cover here. So, to get a closer look, head to our COVID info site, covidinfo.jhu.edu/compact. JH needs you. Together, let's keep each other safe.
We're back here wrapping up on the Hopkins Lacrosse pregame show. I want to give a big thank you to everybody who sent their photos and words and videos in for the Jerry Smith tribute. We would not have been able to do it without you. So a big thanks to all of you, and a special thank you to Rob Frisch of the Mount Washington Tavern for taking the time to sit down with me and discuss his business. They've been a longtime supporter of Hopkins Athletics, and we're happy to return the favor to them. Blue Jays and Buckeyes about 10 minutes away from opening face-off in Columbus as we take a look now at the Shaw Sports Turf weather report of the day. In Columbus, we're looking at a hot one for mid-April. Temperatures in the upper 70s, high around 79, winds 15 to 20 miles an hour, a chance of thunderstorms later in the day, but it should be overcast skies for the Blue Jays and Buckeyes. Thunderstorms look like they're going to be rolling in later in the day, so they should be able to get this one in, and then Johns Hopkins should have a safe flight back to Baltimore afterwards. Johns Hopkins and Ohio State coming up from Columbus. We hope you enjoyed today's pregame show. One final housekeeping business. We got to give you the answer to the trivia question. I know I said you didn't have to submit the right answer, but I wasn't going to leave you hanging with no answer at all. The last time Johns Hopkins played on April 10th was 11 years ago. Back in 2010, the Blue Jays knocked off Albany 19-7 on April 10th, 2010. One other housekeeping note. You should be receiving emails, and you'll see on social media, but the Spring Johns Hopkins Athletics auction will get started in about 2 weeks from now. It'll get started on April 23rd. Be sure to check out the auction site. You can check it out on hopkinsports.com. All kinds of great opportunities, giveaways, trips, and there may be something special for our lacrosse fans in there as well. So check it out at Hopkins Sports. The auction gets started on April 23rd. Hope everybody enjoys the game. Blue Jays and Buckeyes from Columbus. Watch it on Big Ten Network Plus. And tomorrow, the Lady Jays taking on Rutgers here at home. That'll be a noon start on ESPNU. Thanks for watching today's pregame show. We hope you enjoyed it. Go Hop, and let's go Blue Jays.